Welcome to Lola's Frugal Life Podcast. If you're on a mission to be more frugal with both your time and money, you're in the right place. In this podcast, we talk about topics that help enhance living a frugal lifestyle. The goal is to save time and money where we can so that we can use the rest on what matters most to us. We talk a lot about both time and money management so that we can waste as little as possible on both. We do this while also embracing a progress over perfection mindset. If that sounds good to you, then please stick around for the latest episode right after a few quick words from our sponsor. Hi everyone, welcome back to Lola's Frugal Life Podcast. Before we get into today's topic, two quick things to share with you. One, I wouldn't really call this a life update, but I just had a funny story about taking my daughter to the mall last weekend. We were shopping in Primark and she handed me a pair of shorts and I kind of hung them on my pinky and we're just kind of walking around and she's looking to see if there's anything else she wants. And she says, there's really nothing here I'm liking today. Let's just go out to some other store in the mall or whatever. So don't think anything of it. Walk out. We're walking through the mall. It's a really big mall that's near us. And we're like halfway across the mall and we're standing in the Van store and she's looking at some sweatshirts. And all of a sudden I look down and I realize the shorts from Primark are still hanging on my pinky. And I just kind of like looked at them and I was like, oh my gosh. And, my daughter turns around. She's like, what? I'm like, I still have the shorts from Primark. So I go marching back. I leave her there. She's almost 18. So whatever. I leave her there. She's like, I'll just keep looking at the sweatshirts or whatever. And then you go do that and come back. So, I'm marching back to Primark to pay for these shorts. And while I'm walking back there, I see two mall security guards walking in my direction, kind of semi-fast paced. And I'm thinking oh my gosh, they're looking for me because they think I stole these shorts. So I'm trying to walk with purpose so they could see I'm, walking back to Primark to pay for these shorts that I didn't mean to walk out of the store with. But of course they were not looking for me. They had no idea what I was doing and walked right past me. So I get into Primark and I go up to the cashier area and I wait in line and I pay for the shorts. And when the cashier rings me up, I'm telling her the story about how I walked out with the shorts and I didn't realize that I'm in another store and then I saw them there and she could not care less about my story. She just kind of and rang me up and here's your receipt. And I was just like, why are people so not interested sometimes in just having a mild little conversation at the checkout. But anyway, I just thought it was funny because I just walked right out of the store. I had no idea I had those shorts in my hand. I'm walking all through the mall, going to other stores. And then, of course, there had to be two security guards heading in my way as I was heading back to make me have a panic attack. But anyway, I just thought that was a funny story, so I wanted to share that. And then as far as something I'm loving right now, I am loving my new mobile vet. I have a cat that is 7. She's my daughter's cat, technically, but whatever. Lives in our house. And she has never had her nails clipped. She has never even gotten shots because when she was younger, we tried to take her for shots. She's a 100% indoor cat, but when we tried to take her to the vet once and they had 3 people with gloves up to their shoulders and everything else trying to give her shots and they just couldn't deal with her. And then, they said that we could maybe try giving her a sedative and bringing her back and we just never did. And it's just one of those things. She just never got her shots. I never really thought that much about it. I had indoor cats before that were never vaccinated and they never left the house. And I understand they can get out, but whatever. She did not have her shots. But she really needed to get her nails clipped because she had got stuck on the furniture the other day and she did get herself unstuck, but it just made me really nervous because her nails are getting longer than they should be. And I just don't want her to get hurt or rip her nail out or something like that. So I looked online and I found this mobile vet in our area that had really great reviews. So I called them up and they said, oh, well, unfortunately we're not taking any new patients right now. But, the woman that I spoke to, she's like, but I feel really bad for your situation. So I'm going to see if we can try and squeeze you in. So they were able to squeeze me in and they came out And basically what you had to do was put the cat in the bathroom so that it could be kind of in like a confined space so that they could work on it without it going and hiding and running under a couch or whatever. Obviously, they don't want to be chasing a cat all around your house. So we got her in the bathroom, and they came, and they went in there, and it was pretty quiet for a while. And then after a bit, you started hearing like a lot of like hissing and loud, I don't know what you call it when the cats make that, like, I'm not going to attempt it, but that sound where you could tell they're unhappy. It's like an angry meow, I guess. And they came out, and I was surprised they actually got anything done, because I thought that what the intention of this visit was more just to be like a assessment and just kind of see if they'd be able to get anything done. But because of her history, I assumed that they weren't going to be able to get anything done, and they were just going to kind of assess and then determine what to give her for the next time. But they were actually able to get all of her back claws trimmed. They were able to give her both of her vaccines, and they were actually able to also clip some of the front nails, and they did a full exam. They were able to look in her mouth, everything. They just weren't able to get all of the front nails. So that was really great, because I was surprised that we actually got anything accomplished. And then they gave us something to give her, because they have to come back in a few weeks to do a booster shot on one of the vaccines she got. So we're going to give her some sedative, and then they're going to come back and give her the vaccine, and then give her and clip the rest of her nails. So I just thought that was amazing. I don't know how many mobile vets there are. I know they do exist, but they seem like there's not too many of them. And I just thought it's such a great thing, because there's no way, I mean, I guess we could have done the sedative thing and brought her out, but she just is just so anxious with like that type of vet situation. And I would imagine that there's many other pets like that, and it was just so ideal to have them be able to just come right into our house and take care of her right here, and not have to try and get her into the carrier and all this other stuff that drives anxiety in animals when you have to bring them to the vet. So anyway, that's what I'm loving right now, this new mobile vet. I'm so glad they took me on, and they were nice enough to come out and help our cat when they weren't really taking other clients. So anyway, it kind of ties in with today's episode, the power of gratitude. I have definitely done episodes on gratitude before. I do like to do them once in a while, because I just think it's really important. Sometimes we need to kind of take a minute and remind ourselves about gratitude and practicing it. And if you're not familiar, I'm sure most of you are, but gratitude is a positive emotion that involves when we're really kind of feeling thankful and appreciative about things. And when you experience gratitude, you feel grateful for something or for someone in your life, and your body kind of responds back with these feelings of kindness and happiness, and it just kind of really gives you good feelings when you actively take the time to think about those things that you're grateful for. So I think that it's just important to remind ourselves sometimes, and I thought even with the change in season, sometimes things can kind of get out of whack, our routines change, and it's just always, any time is a good time to remind ourselves about gratitude, but I figured with the change in season, this would be a good time to talk about this again as well. And I do have some difficulty in trying to express the power of gratitude, because it's more like a feeling, and I feel I have a hard time like kind of describing and talking about feelings in a way to communicate them effectively so that others can understand what I'm trying to relay. But either way, I still don't think it hurts to do an episode like this and just kind of get people thinking about all the things that there are to be grateful for, because practicing gratitude really has so many benefits. And sometimes we all live busy lives, and sometimes life can just get really busy, and it kind of causes us to forget about all the things that we have to be grateful for. Even when we know that we have so many things to be grateful for, when things get challenging or we're just really busy, we're just trying to get through each day, and sometimes we just don't take a moment to think about all the good things that we have in our life. So every once in a while, I just think it's a really good idea to just try to remind ourselves to think about all the things we have to be grateful for, and really try and make it part of our daily practices as much as we can. Because when we take time to focus on the positive aspects of our life and really recognize the value of what we have, we can really help ourselves realize the benefits that come out of practicing gratitude. And when we practice gratitude, it really helps us develop a positive mindset that can really help the way we approach really everything in life. And, one thing I just want to point out too is that practicing gratitude is so simple. It takes literally seconds. I mean, you could be walking out to your car in the morning and notice a new flower that's blooming. Or you can be sitting at work and just think that, you're grateful that you have this job. Hopefully, if you enjoy it, is a bonus. But, just kind of any little thing that you have, picking up your groceries, you can be thankful that you were able to purchase these groceries and that you have the means to do that. Or cooking a meal, you could be thinking how you're grateful that you have this food to eat. Like there's so many little things that we have, like comforts in our life and people in our life. And I'm not saying there's not bad things, because of course there's bad things too, but there's so many small things that we can be grateful for that we just sometimes might not even think about. We might just go get the groceries and cook the dinner and eat the food and, turn up the heat or whatever. And if we can just do that and everything is the same, but if we just take a moment to really think about those little things as they're happening, it just takes seconds, it can just make you feel so much happier and kind of satisfied with life, because you just can see all of these things that you have that you might just kind of be taking for granted as you're just going through your day. And like I said, there's so many benefits that gratitude can give you in your life. For example, when you express gratitude, it can really just kind of boost your mood and help you feel more positive even when you're facing challenges. Research has shown that consciously practicing gratitude can really reduce your feelings of stress and anxiety, and it can really help shift our focus from negative thoughts to positive ones. Because when we're grateful for a certain situation, even though sometimes it might get challenging, like work is always a good example of that for me. Like work can be really challenging, and sometimes it can get really stressful and it's very hard to deal with. But when you take a minute to think about the fact that, you're grateful you have this job, of course, I'm meaning in a regular situation. If you have like a really terrible work situation, then that might be something different. But if it's more just like a job that you generally enjoy, in the field that you want to work in, and it's maybe just a very stressful time right now, those obviously come and go usually. Sometimes by just kind of approaching it in a grateful way, that you're glad that you have this job in a field that you really like, doing something that you love, and saying, this is just a really rough time right now, but it's not always like this, and we'll get through this, and just kind of approaching it as a challenge, and just remembering that there's other times that are not like this. It can kind of help set your mindset so that you can approach it in a way that's maybe not so stressful and anxiety prone. And another thing that practicing gratitude does is it gives you better self-esteem. Because when you feel grateful for what you have, you're more likely to be satisfied with your life. And then when we put more focus on those positive parts of our life, it kind of helps us focus on those areas, the positive ones, instead of the negative ones. And by building that positivity in all you have, it gives you better self-esteem, because you feel better about yourself and you feel better about all that you have and all that you can be grateful for. It also helps us with being more resilient to challenges. Like I was saying with the work situation, if it's not only work, it's any life situation. If you have a challenging situation come up and you're only focusing on that bad situation and how you're going to deal with it, and just kind of feeling like everything is terrible and how are we going to get through this, it's going to be even more difficult than accepting that you have a difficult situation, but remembering all the other positive aspects of your life. You can kind of approach things with a little bit of a more optimistic view, which can really help make a situation that's difficult easier to get through, because you're not only focused on the negative, you're also thinking about the positives and the other pieces that you have to be grateful about. And it can really just kind of lighten that stress and anxiety that you can maybe feel going into a difficult situation. So it's just very helpful to us in many ways. And it also helps impact our finances. it helps in those other ways that, like I was just talking about, but it also definitely helps us improve our finances and live a more frugal life, because it helps us see that we don't really need that much more than we have. It doesn't mean we can't want more. And, of course, I'm never against people getting things they enjoy or spend money on what's important to them. That is actually what having a frugal life is about. It's about putting your money towards the things that you value most and making sure that that's how you spend your money, regardless of what that is or what people think about what you value. But when we practice gratitude, it really helps us with valuing all that we do have, so that maybe if we're in a situation where we just really can't upgrade our life right now, or we can't get those extra things that we want, it helps you value what you currently have, and that can lead to saving for the future, and then you can get those other things that you really value. But when you're grateful for what you have right now, it just really helps you take your time and consider what other things you may want in the future. And when you're not feeling grateful for what you have, that's when we wind up doing things like impulse spending, just going out and buying things because we feel like we need more. We're always out looking for like the next big thing. Those are the feelings that can definitely come with not having gratitude. When you have gratitude, you just kind of see so much more value, and you're much less likely to just go out and purchase things that maybe you either can't afford or just aren't even that important to you, because you're just out there looking for more. And what's great about gratitude is that it's very simple to practice. Like I said, it doesn't take time. It does take time, but it takes like such limited time that it's not even going to have any impact on your day as far as using more time. It's only going to have a positive impact on your day as far as improving the way you feel and how you approach things every day. You can be grateful while you're doing something, like I said, while you're putting groceries away. You can just stop and take a second, and you don't have to stop putting groceries away. You could just be thankful that, look at all these groceries we got. This is going to feed my family for the next week or whatever. It's just thought. So it doesn't take extra time out of your day. It doesn't take time away from anything you're doing. And you can be grateful about like the smallest little things that bring you happiness, and that can help improve your mood. Take time to slow down just a little bit and just kind of see all the things we have to be grateful for. You could think about how nice it is to get into bed at night under like clean sheets and a nice warm blanket, or having a car that starts up every morning, making your favorite drink and just kind of taking a minute to sit there and enjoy it. Watching the changes in nature throughout the seasons. Like, I don't love fall. I love fall. Okay, it's not that I don't love fall, but I don't love that fall leads to winter. I don't like winter, but at the same time, instead of coming out and being like, oh, I'm so angry, winter's coming, my summer's over and I love summer, coming out and saying like, hey, wow, it looks really cool out here right now. The leaves are all changing color, and the grasses are getting all those cool little like flowy things on top of them, like the big ornamental grasses, they do those little poofs now. And it's the same day whether I come out and approach it thinking like, oh, this stinks because winter's coming, or I could come out and look at all the beautiful changes that have happened in nature. So it's really just kind of just taking a moment and trying to change that mindset and really look for all the positive that there are. In the spring, noticing trees budding or observing birds near your home. And like I said, the food and the tools to make the food, like there's just so many little things that we can constantly be thankful for throughout our day that it's really simple to implement a gratitude practice into our day. So just a couple things I thought to add. I thought it would be nice to add to this episode just some things that I'm currently grateful for this season, because it kind of tied in with gratitude. So I thought of some things. Those were my home and warm clothes to wear. Having a home and being comfortable, like we just kind of take it for granted a lot of times. But can you imagine if you didn't have a home to live in and like nice warm clothes to wear when the weather's changing? Or say if you live in a hot climate, having a home to protect you from the heat. Just simple things like that. It's so basic, but it's just something to be so grateful for. We have a new HVAC system to keep us comfortable when the weather gets colder, and it kept us comfortable all summer when the weather was really hot. I'm grateful I was able to do that because our system broke. And can you imagine if we weren't able to get it repaired and not have heat and cooling? Fall scented hand soaps and lotions. I just love those. I know it sounds like something silly to be grateful for. It's not like meeting my basic life needs, but it's still something that I really love. I love going to Bath and Body Works, and I always wind up getting a really great deal because I do only the sales and the coupons, and I love doing that too. I love feeling like I got like a good deal. But anyway, I love those lotions, and I love changing them when the seasons change. I'm grateful for the health of my family and my pets right now. We don't have any issues going on. I have one horse who usually is constantly needing to see the vet because she has kind of like a long-term injury, but she's doing great right now. So everyone is doing good right now, and it's just something to be really grateful for. I'm also grateful for birthday celebrations that happen this fall. We have a lot of fall birthdays in my family, so we do a lot of dinners. My mom takes my family and my sister's family out every year for my birthday and her birthday, and those are both in the fall. And then my kids, first one starts in October, so then we have October and December, and it just kind of leads to a lot of birthdays. And then of course it leads into Thanksgiving and other family celebrations. So I'm thankful for all of that. I'm thankful for when I'm saying thankful, but thankful, grateful, gratitude, it all is the same thing. Audiobooks. I am always grateful for audiobooks from the library. I have listened to listened and read. The majority are definitely listened because I'm pretty slow on Kindle. I don't always have a ton of time to sit down and read on the Kindle, but I do sometimes. But I definitely go through a ton of audiobooks, and I feel like, I think last time I checked my Goodreads app, it was like 77 books this year or something. I love audiobooks. I love that I can pretty much listen to everything free through my Libby app. I have not paid for any of them, and I haven't missed out on really any of the good books. So I'm always grateful for that. I think the library, having those apps, depending on your area, your selection may or may not be good. Fortunately, I have a great selection here, so I'm always thankful for that. Like I mentioned, the changing of the leaves, I'm thankful for just kind of being able to experience that, and it's so pretty, and I've been seeing lots of pretty pictures online too. I created a Threads account, which Threads is like Instagram's version of Twitter, and of course after I created the account, my kids told me like, oh, that's dying, no one's using that, and I looked it up, and it does seem like basically everyone that started on it kind of jumped off. But I've actually been seeing some really nice things on there. I've been seeing a lot of people that I started following posting just like really pretty pictures and fall pictures and stuff like that. So anyway, I've gotten to see a ton of that either in real life or online. And then of course, I'm grateful for pumpkin and apple picking. It's something that we get to do with my daughters. It's outrageously expensive what you can pay for a pumpkin and for apples at the orchard. I think is way just crazy, very expensive, but it's something that my kids really love to do, and they love to take photos in the orchards, and it just makes for a really nice day, so it's worth it. I could go on and on. There are so many things that we can be grateful for. So just this episode is really just a reminder. It only takes a little bit of effort, and it only takes a couple seconds to recognize some of the things that we have to be grateful for. And it does really have a very, very positive impact on our lives by taking that time to do that. So that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you back here next week. So thank you for checking in for this podcast episode. And don't forget, you can always email me with any questions or suggestions at lolasfrugallife@gmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at lolasfrugallife. And you can find a blog post for most of my episodes and definitely all of my meal plan episodes at lolasfrugallife.com. You can also join our private listeners group at facebook.com/groups/lolasfrugallife. And if you enjoy the show, please make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen from. And I would love it if you would screenshot the show and tag me on Instagram so I could see you're listening. Also, if you can please take a couple of seconds to rate and review the podcast. Those ratings and reviews are what help the show come up better in search results so that other people can find this podcast. So that will really help me in growing my audience. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have an awesome day.